the primary fuels of glucose and fat, they burn inside the mitochondria in the cell. Now there's a secondary fuel, it's not a primary fuel, which is protein. But being a vegetarian, you wouldn't eat complete proteins, you know, beef, lamb, pork, beef. But it's good for you to know that they actually turn to carbohydrate. They hit the liver in a process called glyconeogenesis.
Meats do that.
Meats do it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, excess, okay, will hit the liver, and they turn to carbohydrate. They turn to sugar. There's basically, just going off your assessment, there's basically a diet called the kinetic diet. Okay, and it's for people with cancer, and you have to eat a very, very low protein diet, because if they overeat protein, we're going to go into protein a little bit more now. If they overeat protein, it would, because cancer basically is fed by Warburg told us. Otto Warburg, he's dead now, died in 1970. He won a Nobel Peace Prize. Basically told us a lot about the metabolism of basically cancer, and cancer runs on sugar. It doesn't use the mitochondria. But anyway, let's talk about proteins. Okay. Complete proteins, all your meat, beef, lamb, pork, fish, chicken. Okay, they're known as complete proteins. So what's in them? What do we need out of them? Okay. We need B12, which is big for why do we need B12? Basically, we need it. There's a good documentary on YouTube about B12 and basically dementia, the brain. It's quite essential. We need B12 for metabolism, basically, and it's also needed for the myelin sheath, in the production of the myelin sheath. Okay. Now, not through the study in this course, but I have studied online. I'm not 100% sure now whether this is true, because the person wasn't an expert, but we do actually store B12 in the body, and this is where vegetarians can get caught out, because they think, oh, I'm okay. But it's the #1 top thing I recommend you supplement with, and get a spray.
Oh, right.
Get a spray.
Okay.
I supplement. I've got the Dr. Nicole B12 because it's basically linked to dementia, and well, you'll soon know, because you'll have fatigue. But,
yeah.
So the meats have the complete protein. So you've got B12, zinc, iron. Well, you've got all your Bs. Okay. The Bs, most of the Bs are needed in the production of energy. Okay, so you know you're talking all the Bs, and including 6, 9, 1, 2, and 3, and 12. Okay, and then you've got incomplete protein, but you don't eat these. So you've got iron and zinc. Iron is basically needed. Let me just run through this. Iron is needed. It basically shuttles the oxygen into the red blood cell, into the hemoglobin. So, you'll soon know if you run out of iron, because you will have it won't, it'll come on slowly, and you'll wear yourself down. You won't have any energy. But see, oxygen transport, you get anemia. So
right,
and also so that's this basically anemia. Sorry, not iron. Going on to iron. So iron basically, there's a few things that gel the red blood cell, but iron actually helps the oxygen in there. Sulfur is also needed for the red blood cell, but that's fine for you, because you can get that from garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah, sulfur is very high in garlic, or you can have baths in Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate, which I do.
Oh yeah.
But B12, so what does B12 do? Oxygen transport. So it's needed for the red blood cell, nerve function, DNA, brain, like I said to you before. There's a good documentary of well, he doesn't claim to be one of the world experts, but he's certainly found, let's call it the worst person in the world who's got B12 deficiency, and it causes cognitive decline. The myelin sheath, which is a fatty coating of the nervous system and of your spinal cord and everything. Okay, it helps in the production of that and energy metabolism. So it's very important. But you eat the egg.
Yeah.
Okay, which is, so you can occasionally scramble it, but I prefer you to put, if you can daily, put a raw one in your protein shake. Yeah. And if it gets a bit much, you can half a lime. But if that's fine, and then if you want to scramble the eggs occasionally, it's fine. But I prefer you to keep the yolk in pristine condition, because you need all the nutrients in there. What we're going to go through now, because if the vegetarian eats the egg and cheese and a little bit of salmon, they can basically get by.
Right.
They can get by. There's a few amino acids missing, but they're not going to crash. They won't. Let's call it bug type of thing. They won't hit a wall. So sources. So you don't a B12, which is, so you don't drink milk.
No.
And really, you would have to drink the old-fashioned normally cream on the top, the milk, not the.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you would have to, because you want and eggs.
He's lactose intolerant.
Yeah, so it's. I do eat my cheese, but just try to avoid lactose.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit in cheese, and how about fish?
Nothing.
No.
No fish.
And you wouldn't consider salmon?
No.
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 Okay.
Still an animal.
Right, but they swim and they don't commit suicide. They basically, when they mature, they go back home and spawn and die.
Yeah, and there's also studies that prove that fish can't actually feel pain, but at the same time, it's not my physical right to.
Right. Yeah, no, we as nutritionists, we have to respect culture. We have to respect people's. We actually do a whole unit on that.
Right.
Where we have to respect a lot of things. But now zinc, you'll get a little bit of zinc in the egg, but it's also the complete proteins. Okay, it's probably your beef and stuff like that are the highest. So what is beef? Bioavailability is high in meat, fish, eggs. Well, you won't eat meat, so you won't eat fish. So eggs, you don't eat seafood. But less bioavailable. Bioavailable means available to the body to be taken up to be used, basically. So it's less bioavailable in legumes because of the phytic acid in legumes. Phytic acid is or what's called phytates. This is why I condemn running the body on grains and not sugars, but grains, because all the grains, all the good stuff that's in there gets basically destroyed in the process of making whatever they're making. Okay, so but in all the grains we have phytates. Phytates stop the absorption of several minerals, and some of them are iron and magnesium. Okay, so this is why I condemn grains, because one, they're dirty fuels. They cause metabolic syndrome, and they've got phytates which stop the absorption of. So what's zinc needed for? Cellular metabolism. So that's basically the mitochondria, basically. So it's needed for that. The mitochondria, it's very complex, and I'm still learning about it. But basically, you've got the Krebs cycle, where it makes ATP. You need lots of magnesium in there. But magnesium is not, we'll come back to that. So growth and development, neurological function. Zinc, if you run low on zinc, 300 enzymes depend on it. Now enzymes are proteins. I'm not too up on these, I'm still learning about these, and you must take it with a pinch of salt, because I'm not qualified, I've got no insurance, this is for the unit. But enzymes are proteins, and from what I can gather, they're like taxi drivers. They make things happen. So they're kind of like having a toolbox full of a lot of tools, and you could, you know, different one works on different ones. So, and you know, they make kind of, let's call it, they're like taxi drivers. They make things happen. Okay. Cellular membranes. Now I'm so big on the cell membrane. It's very important because I think it causes aging. And gene expression. One, if I can think of his name's I can't think. Anyway, I can't think of his name. But anyway, zinc affects your gene expression. When we talk about expression, when the scientists, medical scientists talk about expression, I mean what it means is it turn on or turn off. Okay, and also vitamin D from the sun. Okay, turns on. It regulates up to 1,000. We've got 20,000 genes. Okay, but there's the vitamin D. That's why while you're in Australia, you need to top up your vitamin D.
Yeah.
So get, you know, appropriate. Don't get burnt, but get appropriate sun. And hormones. So zinc is actually, this guy says if you're deficient in zinc, you can turn off 2,000 genes or affect 2,000 genes. I can't remember his name. His name's he works at I'll remember. Iron. Yeah, this is a big one for you. Quinoa and eggs. So you've only, you know, these are quite high. So, you know, the eggs. That's why I want you to keep that egg, that yolk, in perfect condition, or else you could run into trouble. So another thing for vegetarians as well is where you can run into trouble is omega-3 fats. These are connected to cognitive decline, basically. So the number one source for you would be flax seeds.
Flax seeds?
Yes.
What, as in flaxseed oil, or just any flax seeds? How would you eat them?
You could put them on anything.
Yeah.
I prefer you to buy the seeds and grind them and get them fresh.
Okay.
Because being a vegetarian and you exercise, see, we're going to go into the consequences a bit later, but you must, you know, we are taught as nutritionists in this course that you must eat an array of foods. You can't keep eating the same foods every day because the hypothesis is, okay, is that the body will use up what it's stored and eventually you'll run out of it. And that's why vegans go really skinny, okay, because the body just takes it, just using all the reserves. And there's hundreds of young people on YouTube. I mean, I'm talking really young that have just probably got into it without getting any advice and just following a friend. And they've said, oh, I've done this for a year or two. Some of them, last 2 months. Some of them last 2 years, and they crash. And they say, run out of energy. I even look like I've aged. So I've watched some of these videos, and anyway. So omega-3 oils, you're vulnerable to be deficient in them because you don't eat fish. So good source of that. So a good source for you is flaxseed oil, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds. Now other fatty acids you'll get from coconut oil, okay, or butter. So I'm a big butter fan, okay, because basically it's good energy. It'll burn in mitochondria and give you. So when I have a salad for my dinner, I'll have a piece of beef, okay, and what I'll do, I'll cut 2 big slices of butter and put on the top, okay, because that's my fat basically. Yeah. But I'll have a salad, a big one, 25% more, because basically, going back to Warburg, Otto Warburg was a biochemist, and actually his partner, Hans Krebs, found the curb cycle, what made the ATP. So they're two very famous people in the history of the world, actually.